Welcome to Listen to Story Channel, The Shadowed Stepfather.
Once upon a chilling night in the small, secluded town of Ravenswood, nestled deep within a forest, lived a little girl named Lily. Lily had a vivid imagination, often spending her evenings in the company of her toys, weaving stories that transported her to far-off lands. Her life seemed idyllic, except for one ominous presence, her stepfather, Henry. Henry was a stern man, his face etched with lines of cruelty that sent shivers down Lily's spine. He married Lily's mother, Emily, when Lily was just 4 years old. From the beginning, Lily felt a strange unease whenever Henry was around. His cold, piercing eyes seemed to bore into her soul, and his laughter, when it came, was always laced with an eerie malevolence. Emily, Lily's mother, was oblivious to Henry's sinister aura. She showered him with affection and never doubted his intentions. As time passed, Lily's unease grew into a deep-seated fear, and she longed for her real father, who had passed away when she was an infant. One moonless night, as the wind whispered secrets through the trees, Lily was in her room, drawing pictures to escape the ever-present dread. She heard a faint rustling from the hallway. Fear clutched at her heart as she peered out of her bedroom door, barely daring to breathe. There, in the dim light filtering through the curtains, she saw it, a shadowy figure, Henry, creeping towards her room. His steps unhurried but deliberate. Lily's breath hitched, and she retreated into her room, quietly closing the door and locking it as silently as possible. Lily's room was small and sparsely furnished. Illuminated only by a feeble nightlight, she clung to her stuffed bear, her heart pounding in her chest. Outside, the wind howled like a banshee, adding to the eerie atmosphere. She knew she had to remain hidden and quiet, for she sensed that Henry was in. Hours seemed to crawl by, the ticking of the clock resonating like a death knell. Lily dared not move, her eyes fixed on the door. Then, just as the first rays of dawn crept into her room, she heard footsteps again, retreating this time. She waited a few minutes, her fear slowly subsiding. Before Lily crept down the hallway, her heart heavy with trepidation. She entered the living room to find Emily, her mother, sitting there, oblivious to the night's events. But Henry was nowhere to be seen. Lily felt a sense of dread as she asked her mother, "Where's Henry?" Emily looked at her with a blank expression. "Henry? He left early for work." "Lily, why do you ask?" A shiver ran down Lily's spine. She knew she hadn't been dreaming. She had seen him creeping towards her room. She decided not to mention it to her mother, fearing disbelief. Days turned into weeks, and Lily's fear of Henry continued to grow. She kept a constant vigil, never letting her guard down, always locking her bedroom door at night. She even began to document her sightings, the times she heard those sinister footsteps in the dark. Lily's blood ran cold as she realized the truth. Henry was not who he seemed to be. He was hiding something sinister and malevolent. Armed with this knowledge, she knew she had to protect herself and her mother. That night, Lily decided to confront Henry. As the clock struck midnight, she crept out of her room and into the dimly lit living room. There he was, sitting in his favorite armchair, a sinister smile playing on his lips. Lily took a deep breath and spoke, her voice trembling but resolute. "I know what you are, Henry. My father knew too." Henry's eyes widened, his smile fading. "What are you talking about, Lily?" With courage she never knew she possessed, Lily continued, "You can't hide your true self from me anymore. I've seen the darkness in you, and I won't let you harm my mother or me." Henry's demeanor changed, his face contorted with rage. He lunged at Lily, but she was prepared. She had hidden a small knife under her shirt, a gift from her father's diary. She brandished it with all the strength she could muster, forcing Henry to back away. "You won't hurt us anymore," she whispered, her voice now steady and unyielding. In the end, Henry fled, Disappearing into the night like the shadow he was, Lily and her mother, safe from his malevolence, began the slow process of healing as the days passed. The darkness that had plagued their lives receded, leaving behind a glimmer of hope. But Lily would always remember the horrors of that night. The night she confronted the sinister shadow of her stepfather. And the night she found the strength to protect the ones she loved.
Thank you for listening to us so far. You can support us by subscribing to the channel.